नमः। अभ्रमं भंगरहितम् अजरं विमलं सदा आनंदतीर्थमतलं भजेतापत्रयापहं मिथ्या सिद्धांत दुध्वांत विध्वंसिन विचक्षणः जयतीत्यागतनिर्भासतां न हृदम्बरे अत्तिकृप्तकल्पयं प्रत्यत्ति गजकेसरी व्यासतीर्थ उर्भूयात् अस्मृष्टसिद्धये तपो विद्याविरक्त्यादि सद्गुणोगाकरानं वादिराजगुरून् वन्दे हयग्रीवदाश्रयान् पूज्य राघवेन्द्राय सत्यधर्मरताय च भजतां कल्पवृक्षाय नमतां कामधेनवे दुर्वादिध्वान्तरवये वैष्णवेन्दीवरेन्दवे श्रीराघवेन्द्रगुरुवे नमो चिन्तयाळवे आपादमौलिपर्यन्तं गुरूणामाक्तिं स्मरेत् तेन विघ्नाः प्रणश्यन्ति सिद्ध्यन्ति मनोरथाः। हरिः ओम् श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। We are doing English Vishnu Sahasranama today. Just an exception because we are lagging behind in English. So I'll say the Rishi Devata Chandas and start. Asya Sri Vishnu Divya Sahasranama Stotra Mahamantrasya Shri Veda Vyaso Bhagavan Rishihi Anushtup Chandah Sri Mahavishnu Paramatma Shriman Narayano Devata Sri Lakshmi Narayan Prasad Siddhyate Jape Viniyogha. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Vishwasmai Namaha. Om Vishwam Vishnur Vashatkaro Bhuta Bhavya Bhavat Prabhu Bhutakrut Bhutabrut Bhavo Bhutatma Bhutabhavanah Bhutatma Paramatma Cha Muktanam Paramagati Avya Purusha Sakshi Kshetragnokshayevacha Yogo Yoga Vidam Neta Pradhana Purusheshwarah Narasimha Pushriman Keshava Purushottamaha Sarvasharva Shivasthanur Bhutadir Nidhiravyeha. We are doing the second sloka. There we have finished Avyaya Purusha. Now we are doing Sakshi today. So we did the Kannada one. Today we are doing it in English. Sakshi is a shabda that we use a lot in the Upanishads and Smritis everywhere. So Paramatma is called Sarvasakshi, Lokasakshi. So we know in the Laukik meaning, Sakshi means like a witness, somebody who has seen something directly. That seeing, in case of Shastra, the Sakshi, that seeing is actually, it can be through a physical eye or it can be through a Jnana Chakshu. So something that we see through Jnana Chakshu, that's also like being a Sakshi. And we have to know the difference between the Indriyas of all the Jivas, how they are function or what kind of Indriyas are there. So in Pramana Paddhati and Pramana Lakshana, in Pramana Paddhati Tika Raya says and in Pramana Lakshana Acharya says, so Sakshi Shadindriya Bhedena. So all the living beings, like, whoever have the bodies, physical bodies, they have 7 kind of organs, sense organs or whatever are receptive, what you call input devices, where the information is collected. Whereas all the Adeha, that is those who do not have physical bodies, like Shriman Narayana, Lakshmi Devi and Mukta Jivas, all the liberated souls, all these, they do not have physical body. So they have only one Indriya, which is called Swarupendriya or Sakshi Indriya, is also called Sakshi Indriya or Swarupendriya. And that is the only Indriya that they have, because the physical sense organs, they are susceptible for destruction. They are like, like we see everything through our physical eye. But when the body falls, all our sense organs are gone. So the Swarupa Indriya or Swarupa Sakshi Indriya, that's the only sense organ that is there inside for the Jiva. So it's actually non-different from Jiva. The Jiva and the Swarupa and the Swarupa Indriya and Sakshi of the Jiva, Sakshi Indriya, all these are synonymous. But we say the Swarupa Indriya of the Jiva, that is only to address the, wherever there is no difference, we speak of the difference, that's called Vishesha. Vishesha means unless we say that expression, we use it that way, we cannot convey our idea. That's why we say Sakshi Indriya of the Jiva. That means the Jiva which uses its own Swarupa as a Sakshi Indriya. The entire Swarupa is a Sakshi Indriya for Jiva. So this is what is Sakshi, that is the Swarupendriya. So for Paramatma, he has only one Indriya, Lakshmi also only one Indriya, which is the Sakshi Indriya or Swarupendriya. Through that Paramatma, he sees everything all the time, past, present and future. For everything, he is Sakshi. That's why he is also called Sarva Sakshi. Sarva means in every kind of Sakshi. Everywhere he is there, everything he sees, and in every aspect of everything he sees. That is the ultimate Sakshitva of the Paramatma. That's why it's called Sakshi. In other words, there is no limitation of space, time, object, or any limitation is not there for Paramatma. That's why it's called Sakshat. We say Sakshat, the word we use Sakshat. He saw something Sakshat. Like in Kannada we say Sakshat Nodida. So he saw Sakshat, that means with directly Sakshat. So whatever is directly seen, it is Sakshi. So Sakshat means without any obstruction. Desha, Kala, Vastu, Swabhava, Vyavadhanena Vina. Ikshate iti Sakshi. So Sakshat Ikshate. Ikshate means seeing. Whoever sees directly, he is called Sakshi. So this directly means the space, time and objects and Swabhava. Swabhava means its own things won't obstruct. Like nothing is obstruct. There is no obstruction at all. So that's why he is called Sakshi. Sakshat Drashtari. So one who sees directly. So Drashtari Sangnayam. So that Ini Pratyaya. That Ini Pratyaya means E. Like we say Dap Pratyaya is A. Like that, Ini Pratyaya means E. So Saksha becomes Sakshi. That Ikara is called Ini Pratyaya. So that Ikara is, it indicates that Sakshat Drashtari Sangnayam. So directly something is seen, that's called Sakshi. So that's what it is. So it is also said Anavrutatvat Bahirantaram Nate. So Avrutatva is not there. Avrutatva means what? Covered. Encircled or eclipsed or whatever. So something like, for example, we are inside the house. We cannot see what is outside the house. We see what is happening inside or wherever we are. For us, the wall or the house, any opaque object, it becomes an obstruction. And also the distance, if it is like at a very high distance, even if there is no obstruction, we cannot see. We have limitation. So we have limitation as far as the capability of the eye is concerned. Even the nearby objects, if there is an obstruction, we cannot see that. So these are called Vyavadhana. That means there is a break. So this are Avrutatva, covered. Something is covered. We are even like, if we keep something inside a box, we can't see it because the box is covering it. So whether we cover ourselves or we cover something or something else covers something. So because of several reasons that Avrutatva, the covering happens, so we cannot see. So for Paramatma, that Avrutatva is not there. Nothing can block his view. So that's Anavrutatvat Bahirantaram Nate. So Sarvatra Avyavadhanena Drushtatvat Sarvavastunaha Antaram Bahyamityevam Vishesha Nasti Kaschana. So basically everywhere he sees without any break. Inside, outside, nothing is there for him. At this time, at that time, past, present, future, nothing is there for them, for Paramatma. So he sees that. So Sannidhane athava dure kala vyavahite apiva swabhavatva vyavahite vastu vyavahite apiva na ashaktihi vidyate vishnoho nitya avyahitatvatah. Always avyavahitatva, that means non-separate, non-break, non-separation is there for Paramatma. That's why he sees everything. So that's why that Ashakti is not there. Na Ashakti vidyate. That means that Ashakti is incapacity. Never there exists an incapacity. Incapacity due to what? Sannidhane, something is close by, we can see. If it's far away, we cannot see. So, or if it's too close, we cannot see. So the too close or too far, it does not obstruct Paramatma, or that does not come on his way. So Sannidhane, because he is Sarvavyapi. So Sannidhane athava dure kala vyavahite, past, present, future, we cannot see whatever has happened many years ago or even before our time period, we cannot see. So That Kala Vyavahitatva is not there for Paramatma. Swabhavat, basically inherent incapacity is there, that is also not there for Paramatma. He does not have inherent incapacity at all. So Vyavahite, Vastu Vyavahite, some objects may be out of visibility for Paramatma, or somebody may decide, okay, I don't want to be visible because of his powers. But in case of Paramatma, nobody can do that. Nobody can say, okay, I don't want to be seen by Paramatma. That kind of a thing is not, capacity is not there for anyone. So that is specific, extraordinary capabilities of Paramatma. So this Sakshitva is something that is there for Paramatma in every respect, and this is there for Lakshmi also. But the difference between Paramatma and Lakshmi is, because for Lakshmi also, for her past, present and future, everything is visible for her and nothing can obstruct her view, and she can see at all places, at all times and everywhere, in Mukta Prapancha, Amukta Prapancha, everywhere. She has similar kind of Sarvavyapakatva as Paramatma as far as Desha and Kala. That's why Desha, Kala, Samavyapti is there. That's why she's called Samana. She takes same number of forms as Paramatma, and she also sees everything that Paramatma sees. The only difference is, for Paramatma it is Swatantra, independently he obtained. For Lakshmi, because of the Anugraha of Paramatma, she has that capacity. That's the difference. Otherwise, both of them are Sarvasakshis. So this is we have to talk about the Samarthya of Lakshmi and Narayana. That's the specific points. And then there are some other meanings that we can talk about. So this Saksha, Aksha means Indriya, the eye. Whichever has Aksha, that is Saksha. So basically, the Indriyas of the body has all the Indriyas. So that's why Akshaihi, Indriyehi, Sahitaha, Sakshaha, Dehaha, Saha Asya Astiti Sakshi. That means Paramatma, he is the owner of all the bodies of all the jivas. All the bodies of all the jivas are called Saksha. So Saksha means Aksha Sahitaha, Dehaha, Akshaha means Indriyaha. So that which has all the Indriyas, that is called Saksha, that is Deha, Sakshaha, Dehaha. So one who is Swami of the Sakshas, Sakshaha Asya Asti iti Sakshi, Bahurihi. In Bahurihi form, the Lord is, Paramatma is the Lord of all the bodies of all the living beings. That's why he is called Sakshi. Sakshi, one who is Lord of all the bodies. That's another meaning. And then Aksha means the spoke of a wheel is called Aksha. So Aksha is spoke of the wheel, that which is along with the spoke of the wheel, like this whole universe is along with the Sa Aksha. What is Aksha? Spoke. Spokes of the wheel means what kind of a wheel? Kala Chakra. If you take Kala Chakra, the Kala Chakra is there, it functions in this entire universe. The universe functions under the coverage of time. It is bound by the time. Kala Chakra is there in this universe. So this universe which has the Kala Chakra, Kala Rupa Aksha, Saksha, that's why it's called Sakshi. Sakshi means or rather Saksha means the whole universe, that which has the Aksha, that is the Kala Chakra, that thing is called the universe, is Saksham. So Paramatma is the Lord of this universe, which is a Saksham. So the Indriya Sahita Jagataha Prapanchasya Swami Ityataha Sakshi, because he is the Lord of this universe which operates under the wheel, the chakra of Kala, the time. That is why he is called Sakshi. So that's another meaning. And then Paramatma, these Indriyas, Jnanananda Atmaka Indriyas are also Indriyas, not only the physical sense organs, but Jnananandatmaka sense organs. That means the Jiva. The Jiva is also Saksha, because it has got the Swarupendriya. Swarupendriya Sahitaha Jivaha Api Sakshaha. So that Sakshas, Jivas, their Jiva Swarupa Dehas are also called Sakshas, and one who is the Lord of all the Jiva Swarupa Dehas, that's why Paramatma is called Sakshi. See the difference? The earlier one is the Paramatma is Lord of all the physical bodies, that's why he is Sakshi. Here Paramatma is the Lord of all the Swarupa Dehas, the Jivas, Aprakruta Dehas. That's why also he is Sakshi. So that's another definition. And then another thing is Bhagavanta, he has his Deha. Bhagavanta's Deha itself, if you take, it has all the Lakshanas, Buddhi, Manasya. Of course, there is only one in there, Swagata Bheda Vivarjitatva. That means he is one, he is unique, he is indivisible, he is all powerful, he doesn't have a physical body, he has a non-material body, Swarupa Deha. But Paramatma Swarupa Deha is also called Saksha because it has the Indriyas. Paramatma Swarupa Indriya is there, that's why Saksha. That which has the Swarupa Indriya of Paramatma is Saksha, and Paramatma has his own Swarupa Deha, that's why he is called Sakshi. This is like a unique definition. That means he is the Lord of his own Swarupa Deha, that's why he is Sakshi. And then this is another definition is Saksha. Sakshi is there, that Saksha, whatever has the Saksha is Sakshi. The Saksha can also be split as Sa plus Ksha. Sa means Lakshmi Devi, Shri. So Shri Rupa Lakshmi Devi is called Sa, and also Sarabhuta, that's why also she is Sa. Sa means she. She means Lakshmi Devi, or Sa means Sarabhuta, the essence of everything. That's why Lakshmi is also called Sa. That Lakshmi Devi, Shri Rupa Lakshmi Devi, and Ksha means Ksha or Kshma is Bhu. Bhu Rupa Lakshmi. So the Bhu Rupa Lakshmi is called Ksha. So the Paramatma is the Lord of Sa and Ksha. That's why is Sakshi. Sa means Shri Rupa. Shri Bhu Rupa Lakshmi. He is the Lord of Shri Bhu Rupa Lakshmi. That's why he is called Sakshi. In the same word, we can also see Sa plus A plus Ksha. That A is also, A means not visible for it's not under Tamo Guna Abhimanitva of Lakshmi Devi. That's why as Sattva, Rajas, Tamo Guna Abhimani. So Sa is Shri Devi, A is Durga Devi, Ksha is Bhu Devi. These three forms of Lakshmi Devi, and Paramatma is Lord of all these three forms. That's why also is called Sakshi. That's another meaning. And then another meaning is Lakshmi Devi. She is the Sa is Sarabhuta is not only applicable for Lakshmi Devi, it is also applicable for Saraswati, Bharati, and other Devatas. Even Shachi Devi is called Shri. One of the meanings of Shachi Devi is Shri, and so she is also addressed by the word Sa. So all these goddesses, they are all called Sa. And then Aksha means they have Jnana, Shuddha Jnana, and undiminished Jnana. That's why the Brahma Vayus, the Ruju Yogis, they are called Aksha. Aksha means undiminished or indiminishable. And the reason they are called Aksha is in Pramana Paddhati and Pramana Lakshana, we see that Kramena Vardhamanaha Amuktehe, Rujujnanam, Kramena Vardhamanaha Amuktehe. So the Rujujnana, which is talking about Vritti Rupa Jnana. So we have to differentiate between Swarupa Jnana and Vritti Rupa Jnana. Swarupa Jnana does not function directly in samsara stage. The Swarupa Jnana's projection is Vritti Rupa Jnana. Vritti Rupa Jnana means the knowledge that we use in samsara. It is called Vritti Rupa Jnana. The knowledge that is used in moksha is called Swarupa, because in moksha there is no Linga Deha, nothing is there, only Swarupa Deha. So in moksha we have only Swarupa Jnana. there is no vritti rupa jnana at all. Whatever we are talking, we are doing every day, day to day we are using, that is daily jnana, that is vritti rupa jnana. We need vritti rupa jnana to do sadhana. Everybody, whoever does sadhana, they do the sadhana by using the vritti rupa jnana. So this vritti rupa jnana sadhana is done all through our samsara stage. At the end, when we cast off the lingadeha and go to moksha, this vritti rupa jnana is cast off. Just like a lingadeha is dropped off, this swarupa jnana alone is kept and vritti rupa jnana is dropped off. The vritti rupa jnana is not needed anymore when we go to some moksha, because that is connected to the body. The vritti rupa jnana is connected to the body. And this vritti rupa jnana for Ruju yogis, it is ever increasing. It never decreases. Like for us, if we take, suppose we are born in the next janma. As a child, we do not know much. So we drop, again we increase, we go up, increase. So we have the ups and downs of the jnana for us. But whereas for Ruju yogis, the ups and downs are not there. Ekarupena kramena vardhamanam. It constantly keeps on increasing. That's why they are called aksha. So this Sa and Aksha. Sa is Saraswati Bharati and Aksha is Akshanamaka, Vayu Brahmas. And for all four of them, Paramatma is Swami. So one who is Lord of Sa, Bharati Saraswati and Vayu Brahma. So all four are controlled by Paramatma. That's why he is called Sakshi. Another meaning separately we take is Sa is Shri Devi. That Shri Devi means there's Shri, another meaning is for used for Sachi Devi. Sachi Devi also is Sa. So Sa Namaka Sachi Devi. And then Aksha. Aksha means one who has here not Kramena Vardhamanam. In case of Indra, he has Sahasraksha. He is called Sahasraksha. So one who has 1,000 eyes. So he is Aksha. So the Akshanamaka Indra and Shachi Devi, one who is the Lord of these two, Shachi and Indra, one who controls Lord of these two, that's why Paramatma is called Sakshi. So this is the another meaning for Sakshi, Paramatma Swarupa. So with this I'll pause it so that any questions you can feel free to ask. So a lot of new way of looking at this root words that we have seen in this definition of Sakshi. So any questions are there, you can feel free to ask. Sri Krishna Arpanamastu. Kayena vacha manse gurubhyo namaha. Abhramam bhangarahitam ajaram vimalam sada anandatitmatlam vajetapatrayapaham mithya siddhanta dudhvanta vidvamshana vichakshana jaititaka tanidbhasatam no hrudambare artikalpita kalpoyam pratyatti gajakesari vyasatitta gurubhuyad asmadishtat siddhe तपो विद्या विरक्त्यादि सद्गुणोगाकरानहं वादिराजगुरुन् वन्दे हयग्रीवदाश्रयान् पूज्य राघवेन्द्राय सिद्धर्मताय च भजतां कल्पवृक्षाय नमतां कामधेनवे दुर्वादिध्वान्तरवे वैष्णवेन्दीवरेन्दवे श्रीराघवेन्द्रगुरुवे नमोऽत्यन्तदयाळवे आपादमौलिपर्यन्तं गुरूणामाकृतिं स्मरेत् तेन विघ्नाः प्रणश्यन्ति सिद्ध्यन्ति मनोरथाः हरिः ओं श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः. We are doing the English session today for Vishnu Sahasranama. So in this times, any time Vishnu Sahasranama is always a welcome factor, because it is thinking about the names of the Lord and his Swarupa, Nama, Rupa, Guna, Kriya. So the names, the form, how we meditate upon him, and then Gunas, his qualities, and the functionalities that he did in that particular form. So this four-way Anusandhana is very, very helpful in thinking about the names of the God. So here Vishnu Sahasranama, before we proceed, we will do the Rishi Devata Chandas and proceed. Asya Sri Vishnu Divya Sahasranama Stotra Mahamantrasya Sri Vedavyaso Bhagavan Rishihi Anushtup Chandah Sri Mahavishnu Paramatma Shriman Narayano Devata Sri Lakshmi Narayana Prasada Siddhyate Jape Vinyogaha Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Vishwasmai Namaha Om Vishwam Vishnur Vashatkaro Bhuta Bhavya Bhavat Prabhu Bhutakrut Bhutaprut Bhavo Bhutatma Bhutabhavanaha Bhutatma Paramatma Cha Muktanam Paramagati Avya Purushasakshi Kshetragnokshayevacha योगो योगविदां नेता प्रधानपुरुषेश्वरः नारसिंहो पुष्यमान् केशव पुरुषोत्तमः. We are doing in the second sloka Kshetragna Shabda. We are going to do that. We have done Purusha Sakshi, Purusha and Sakshi. So as a Purusha, Rupi Paramatma, he is present in all the Puras, the Patanas of our Dehas. So his Avyaya, Purusha, Sakshi, his Avyayatva is undiminished form. That means he is not diminished. That means he is Ekarupata. In one infinite way, he always remains. The infiniteness can never be reduced. So just as we subtract anything from the infinity, it remains infinity. So same way, if we take out something from Atma, it still remains the same. Nothing can be, his infiniteness never be reduced. That's why he is Avyaya. So as Avyaya, what he does, he is there Purishete in all the Shariras, Pura Namaka Patanas, he is present. So he is Purusha, and not only is just present everywhere, he sees everything. So Sakshi, so Sakshi Bhuta, so Pratyaksha Rupena, directly he sees everything. So as a Sakshi, he is present in everybody and he is directly seeing everything. And in this context only, we think about the Kshetrajna. So the word here, Kshetrajna, it has two parts in there, Kshetra and Jna. So Kshetra, Jna means knowing, to know. So Jnana, so Kshetrajna is one who knows about the Kshetra. So here what does it mean by Kshetra and Kshetrajna? So there is one complete Adhyaya in Bhagavad Gita, 13th Adhyaya, which is called Kshetra Kshetrajna Vibhaga Yoga. So the Jnanopaya by which the Kshetra Kshetrajna Rupatva of the Paramatma is meditated upon. And in that Adhyaya, in the third sloka, Krishna says, Kshetragnam chapi mam vidhi sarva kshetreshu bharata kshetra kshetrajnayor jnanam yat tad jnanam mata mama anta heli. What he is saying here, he is saying Arjuna, Kshetra is something that I am going to explain it to you. And this Kshetra is made up of different kind of tattvas. So the 24 tattvas, we'll talk about that. So the Kshetra, which is made of various kinds of tattvas, like Avyakta Tattva is one of them. And the Avyakta Tattva is very significant because the word itself indicates the Avyakta is a Tattva which is not directly Vyakta. That means manifestation is not there, unmanifest. So this Avyakta Tattva represents an unmanifest form of it. Though there are many other unmanifest forms, this Avyakta Tattva kind of forms almost a Mula for everything. So from Mula Prakriti, the Avyakta Tattva is the first unmanifest form that is taken out. And from Avyakta Tattva, Mahat Tattva comes, Ahankara Tattva comes, and then Manas Tattva is created. So after creating these tattvas, the Pancha Jnanendriyas, Pancha Karmendriyas, Pancha Tanmatras and Pancha Mahabhutas are also created. So these 4 and then these 20, Pancha Bhuta, Pancha Tanmatras and Pancha Jnanendriyas, Pancha Karmendriyas, sense organs and action organs. So this 20 plus 4, the 4 is Ahankara Tattva, Buddhi, Manas Tattva and Avyakta Tattva. So, like sometimes they say Ahankara, sometimes Mahat Tattva. They are used interchangeably because from Mahat Tattva, Ahankara Tattva comes. So, Ahankara Tattva origin is from Mahat Tattva. So, either of them it's okay to say. So, that's why Avyakta Tattva, Buddhi Tattva, Ahankara Tattva and Manas Tattva. And then all the other 20. So, this is 24 Tattvas. They are a Kshetra. And the Paramatma knows completely and clearly all these 24 tattvas. Not only he knows about these tattvas, he is present in these tattvas. Not only is present in these tattvas, he directs these tattvas. So Paramatma is Kshetrajna, Janati, Sarvam Kshetram Janati. One who knows everything about this kshetra. That's why he is called kshetrajna. So, and here it says kshetragnam cha api mam vidhi. So jivas, all the ordinary jivas, they are not kshetrajnas. So because in some places people may get the delusion, okay, I am in the body, I know about my body, so I am the kshetrajna. So, but that is not true, because I do not know everything about my body. First of all, this body alone is not kshetra. The body is one of the ways of presenting the kshetra. So body can also be called kshetra, but body alone is not kshetra. The entire universal tattvas, they are all together form this kshetra swarupa, and Paramatma alone is kshetrajna. So kshetragnam cha api mam vidhi. Know me to be the kshetrajna. Sarva kshetreshu means sarva kshetra vishayeshu. So in every kshetra vishaya, Paramatma alone is kshetrajna. This is what my abhipraya, my opinion, Paramatma's opinion means that is the ultimate thing. So there is no further clarification needed for that. So there in Tatparya, Acharya says, Kshetragno Bhagavan Vishnu nahi anyah kshetra manjasa veti asau Bhagavan nyeyah vyakta avyakta vilakshanaha satu jiveshu sarveshu bahischaiva vyavastitaha vilakshanastu jivebhyah sarvebhyopi sadaivacha. What Krishna says there is like, in that the essence of that thing, the Tatparya, Acharya explains, Kshetrajna is Bhagavan Vishnu and no one else. Nahi anyaha kshetram anjasa veti. No one else knows completely about this entire kshetra. And though Lakshmi knows it, the Lakshmi knows it as Aswatantra. Swatantrena only Paramatma knows. Aswatantrena Lakshmi knows. So this is and this Paramatma is Vyakta Avyakta Vilakshana. So another, see, there can be some confusion or doubt that can come to somebody's mind that the same word, how can it represent a jada and chetana? For example, kshetra can also be said about Paramatma. Same way, avyakta, this, for example, avyakta is avyakta tattva. It is a jada. But avyakta in 12th adhyaya says avyakta upasana. There it's talk about avyakta is representing Lakshmi. So avyakta, by avyakta shabda, the chetana Lakshmi is also indicated, and avyakta tattva, which is jada, is also indicated, because both have the same qualities. In the sense, Lakshmi is not completely vyakta to any jiva except Paramatma, so she is avyakta, and avyakta tattva is also not manifest form, so that is also avyakta. So by giving a different meanings, what are the different meanings? The chetana that is not manifest form is avyakta, that is Lakshmi, or the jada which is not in vyakta form or a manifest form, that is avyakta tattva. So same, the word avyakta can represent a chetana or a jada depending upon the context. So the same word can represent both the things. So like this, there are many things. In fact, Paramatma is Sarvashabda Vachya. That means every shabda that represents a jada padartha also represents Paramatma, because it's Sarvashabda Vachya. Every shabda represents Paramatma means when the shabda gives a meaning that is attributable for Paramatma, then that shabda represents Paramatma. So this way one can understand that one shabda, a word, can represent a jada, a jiva, and Paramatma, all three also. For example, avyakta, if you take, Paramatma is also known by the word avyakta, Lakshmi is also known by the word avyakta, and avyakta tattva is also known by the word avyakta. The same word avyakta represents avyakta tattva, Lakshmi, and Narayana. All three are conveyed, but the definitions vary. When it represents the tattva, it is a tattva which is not vyakta, which is not manifest, that's avyakta tattva. In case of Lakshmi, she is not directly known by any of the jivas, that's why she is avyakta. So avyakta is Lakshmi Devi, who is not vyakta for any of the jivas. And Paramatma is avyakta because he is not vyakta for anybody, even for Lakshmi he is not vyakta. So the degree of definition varies for avyakta, the same word. Same way, prakriti, if you take, prakriti, jada prakriti is a prakriti, mula prakriti. So, jada vyakta prakriti is called sat prakriti. Asat means non-manifest form. Asatah sadajayata. So, that asat is mula prakriti. That is also called prakriti. So, the two different jada, that is the manifest prakriti, jada prakriti is called prakriti. The unmanifest jada prakriti, mula prakriti is also called prakriti. So together we can say this mula prakriti and vyakta prakriti together we can call it jada prakriti. So chetana prakriti, so that means prakriti when it represents the jada padartha, it is the entire prakriti. That means prakriti is whatever is prakruta, material form, that's all that is prakriti. And non-material Lakshmi chetana prakriti is also prakriti. And Paramatma also can be represented by the word prakriti. Prakriti means one who does everything. The definition itself changes. When we define, we apply the word prakriti for Paramatma, the definition completely changes. He is prakriti means one who prakarshena karoti sarvamiti prakriti. One who does everything is prakriti. So the definition changes. So the same word, not the same definition applies for everything, but the same word with different definitions can apply to different things, to jada or to chetana, depending upon the definition. The definition changes. So same way, this kshetra is actually what kshetra means. Actually in Gita itself, the kshetra is explained in like we saw that verse number 3. Then down the line, if you go to verse number 6 and 7 in Bhagavad Gita, there it says Mahabhutan Yahankaro Buddhir Avyaktamevacha Indriyani Dasha Yekamcha Pancha Cha Indriya Gocharaha Ichha Dvesham Sukham Dukkham Sanghatas Chetana Dhruti Etat Kshetram Samasena Savikaram Udahrutam. So here it is defining kshetra along with the vikaras of the kshetra. What is the kshetra and kshetra vikaras? So actually I did not explain this in Kannada session. I am explaining this in English session. And Mahabhutani, this Pancha Mahabhutas, and then Ahankara Tattva, Buddhi, Avyakta, and then Pancha Indriyas. So Pancha Jnanendriyas and Panchakarma. So Dasha Indriyani, Dasha Ekam. 10 Indriyas means Pancha Jnana, Panchakarma becomes 10. And then Ekam is Mano Indriya. So Manas Tattva or Mano Indriya, either way you can take. So Manas basically Manas as Tattva or Manas as Indriya. And then Pancha Cha Indriya Gocharaha. Indriya Gochara is Pancha Tanmatras, which is Shabda, Spasha, Rasa, Rupa, Gandha. These 5. So these together becomes 24. And along with that actually Ichha, Dvesham, Sukha, Dukkha also indicated, and Chetana, Dhruti. So these are vikaras of the kshetra. So from kshetra, these 24 entities if you take, from these 24 entities, what happens is we have this dvesha, which is manopravrutti. Manas, we have manas tattva here indicated. The manas, when it undergoes the vikara, that means transformation, we get sukha, happiness, or dukkha, sadness, or dvesha, or hatred, or sharira, mana, vyapti. That means the way the sharira and manasu, they are functioning, all those things also indicated by this 24. And also the body itself has these 24 tattvas within that. So this way, these 24 tattvas and their vikaras together, everything is our kshetra. So this kshetra is the karya ranga, the field of operation for Paramatma. And he performs everything that is related to this kshetra. That's why he knows how to form this kshetra. He knows how to use this kshetra. He knows how to make this kshetra function. That's why he's called kshetrajna. One who knows about the kshetra. That's why he's called kshetrajna. And then another thing that comes is kshetra. So in Gita Tatparya, Acharya says there in 6.7, Kshitiretad Bhagavato yadata kshetra miryate shinoti trati cha eva etat saha ataha va kshetra muchyate kshitim krutva trati cha etad अतः वा क्षेत्रमीरितं एतस्मात् क्षीणं एतेन त्रातम् इति अथवा पुनः. Basically what it's saying is how the word kshetra is formed. It is explaining kshetra has got kshiti and tra. Kshiti means nivasasthana, the abode or the place of living. The word kshiti is also place of living. Kshetra as a whole also means space of living or place of living. And kshetra, when we give kshiti as a place of living, Tra means Trana Rakshana. So this entire universe is a kind of where all the jivas, they find their place of living. That's why this entire universe, which comprises of these 24 tattvas, is called Kshetra, because the Kshititva, Nivasasthanatva is there. Tra, it is protected by Paramatma and it protects the ones who are living in them. So this Kshetra is protected by Paramatma, and Kshetra is kind of through Paramatma's grace. It is Paramatma who protects, but through Paramatma, Kshetra also gives a protection to all the jivas. So that's why it is Kshetra. That is also another etymological meaning for this Kshetra, this 24 tattva, the universe comprising of these 24 tattvas. And this Kshetra is what Paramatma is knowing. So etasma kshinam tratamityathava punah. He destroys the Kshetra and then recreates them, protects them. That means Srishti Sthiti Laya of this Kshetra is done by Paramatma. So he is Kshetrajna, because he only one who knows completely about an entity has the ability to create, sustain and destroy the Kshetra. So that's why Paramatma alone is Kshetrajna. So in Tatparya, as what we read, Kshetrajno Bhagavan Vishnu nahi anya kshetra manjasa vetti. No one else knows about the Kshetra. That's why Paramatma is called Kshetrajna. And ittamatra Bhagavan eva kshetra manjasa janati sthulataya uktam uttaratra vivriyate yetat sarvam sarvada eva nirdoshena eva chakshusha. Paramatma sees everything with a flawless perception. He sees, that's why he knows everything and he sees it in a flawless manner, because his Swarupendriya is all powerful. The most powerful Swarupendriya of Paramatma is also infinite and non-different from Paramatma, and through that he prayanyeva janati yat kshetrajno. Not only he knows everything, he gives the prerana, instigation. He instigates all the beings who are living in this kshetra. So he is kshetra preraka api. He also instigates this kshetra and he knows the kshetra. That's why it's called kshetrajna. That is the Gita. Through Gita, actually that adhyaya, entire adhyaya of 13th adhyaya deals with kshetra shabda, kshetrajna shabda, and how Paramatma alone is Kshetrajna. So the entire Adhyaya deals with that. When we do Gita, we'll go into details about that. But a general picture only I have given that. So yetad yo veti tam prahuhu kshetrajna iti tadvidah. And what we saw in third sloka, kshetragnam chapi mam vidhi sarvakshetreshu bharata uktah natu jivatmana iti Gita tatparya samarthitam. Gita tatparya also says, and Gita sloka itself says directly that Paramatma alone is Kshetrajna and no Jiva is Kshetrajna. So this is important. Jivasto Bhagavan Vishnu Kshetrajna iti giyate. So Bhagavata Tatparya Nirnaya also this concept is given. So and also in Bhagavata Tatparya Nirnaya Acharya further says Swa Atma Adharaha Swechaya eva Jiva Druhtehe Tirohitaha Kshetrajna ityuchyate. Vishnuhu Jivastaha Purushottamaha. So all the other Jivas, their Jiva Drushti is always falls short. Paramatma alone is like complete Jnana and Drushti. He sees everything. That's why he is Kshetrajna, and he does this with Swechaya eva Avrutaha Vishnu Jive Tishtati Nityada Yaha Asau Niyamayan Jivam Kshetrajna iti Shabditaha. Anavrutatva, we talked about that in Shakshi. So Paramatma directly sees because it's Anavrutatva. That means nothing can be concealed from Paramatma. The Kshetrajna Shabda also, he knows everything because nothing can be concealed from him. He sees everything directly. There is no force that can prevent Paramatma from seeing that. So that's why he's called Kshetrajna. And another meaning for that is, I was saying how the same Shabda can represent Jiva, Jada, Paramatma, all three, or Jada and Paramatma, or whatever way. So the Kshetra Shabda, when it represents this inert objects, the entire universe, this 24 Tattva, the Jada Padartha comprising or consisting of these 24 Tattvas is called Kshetra, and it is also Kshetram Nivasasthanam. That's why this universe is Kshetra. And if we apply that meaning Nivasasthanam, Yaha Jadaha Saha Nivasasthanam Kshetraha Nivasasthanam, if we give that definition, it is this Jada entire universe is Kshetra. But if we also say Chetanaha, Chetanas Chetananam, Sa Chetanaha, that Chetana, Yaha Sarvesham Nivasasthanam, Saha Kshetraha, one who is the abode, support, refuge, who holds, who conducts, who carries everything in the universe as a Paramachetana Swarupa, then that definition will represent Paramatma. So Kshetra is a sentient being who gives support, who sustains everything in this universe, Jada, Ajada. Jada, Chetana, everything is supported by Paramatma. That's why he can also be called Kshetra, with the understanding that he is the support, holding place for Jada, Chetana, Atmaka, Samasta Jagat. Jada, Chetanatmaka, Samasta Jagat. He is Nivasasthana. He is the abode for everything as Paramachetana. So Paramachetana Narayana is the abode of all the living beings and also all the Jada Padarthas. That is why he is Kshetra. And Kshetrascha Jnascha. Jna is just knower of it all. You don't have to say one who knows Kshetra. Instead of that, Kshetra is Paramatma, and Jnaha, Janati Sarvamiti Jnaha. So one who knows everything, that's why he is Jna. So he is Kshetra, he is Jna, he is both. That's why he is Kshetrajna. That's another meaning. And another meaning is Paramatma, he is also present inside the body of, like Purusha meaning. The Purusha meaning in Kshetrajna, we can see that. So one who is present inside the Kshetra of everything and knows it. So in Purusha he is present, but in Kshetrajna he is present and also knows. So Jivatma, the Sharira of all the Jiva, the bodies of all the Jivas are called Kshetraha. Instead of Kshetraha, which is a combined entity of this entire 24 Tattvas. Suppose you take Kshetraha, each body is one Kshetra. So Samasta Kshetranam Janati. So one who knows all the Kshetras. So Samasta Kshetranam Jnata, one who knows all the Kshetras. Sarvani Kshetrani Janati, one who knows all the Kshetras. What are the Kshetras here? The bodies of all the living beings. One who knows all the bodies of all the living beings. That's why he is called Kshetrajna. So Kshetranamaka Shariranam Jnata. So one who is knower of all the bodies of all the beings. That's why he is called Kshetrajna. And also his own body, which is non-different from himself. Paramatma does not have a separate body. For him, his own Swarupa Deha is everything. So he himself is his body. Even in avatars, he never has a Prakruta Sharira. So his Aprakruta Sharira of the Paramatma itself is the Kshetra Nivasasthana for everything. So if we say Paramatmanaha Shariram, so his own Sharira, which is non-different from him, it is the Kshetra for all the beings, so that he knows about himself. Paramatma knows about his own body, which is himself. That's why he is Kshetrajna, one who knows himself, which is his own Kshetra. So that's why he is Kshetrajna. This is another definition we can give for Kshetrajna. So these are the general approach meanings that we can give for Paramatma. Basically, his universal Vyapti Rupatva along with Jnana Rupatva, along with his giving support for everything, and that can be contemplated upon in this Kshetrajna form of the Lord. So this is Kshetrajna. So I'll just open up for any questions. So if you have any questions, you can feel free to ask. Hare Srinivasa, Shri Krishna Arpanamastu.